I wanted to start. Oop, there we go. It's working now. It changed. So yeah, so nice to meet you. So I guess the first thing we should start with is you need to tell. I'd like to know how long you've been studying and using English, and also how often you use it nowadays, and for what do you use it?
Okay. Uh, I've been on my English learning journey for about 4 to 5 years, and and I don't really use it that much. I mean, I watch stuff in English. I take a couple lessons here on Italki, but other than that, I don't talk. I don't use it for work. If that what you meant. Uh, but I I just u- I just I just been learning English. Like I don't use it for work, but I plan to use it in the future.
Okay, so what is your major motivation then to learn and improve?
Oh, okay. Uh, what do you mean by that?
So like what, of course everybody has their own, reasons to learn a language. It could be because of family, it could be because of a future job, or just because of travel or whatever. But what is the main like motivator that drives you to improve?
Oh, okay, okay. Well, I've got two goals in mind. One of them is to become an English teacher
Nice.
and at language schools, right? And the other one is possibly work at a hotel and as a bilingual receptionist because I I I I I will get I will get to how do I say this, like I will get no I will have to get like in touch with people and languages.
Yeah. Internet, of course, when you work at a hotel, it's an international environment, so you have contact with, people from all over the world. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what city are you from? And I think I saw on your profile you're from Brazil, but where in Brazil?
uh Rio de Janeiro.
Where was that? Say it again.
Rio de Janeiro.
Oh, nice, nice, nice American pronunciation of it too.
That's the first time I said it in a Brazilian way, but since you didn't get it, I try to imitate the American
No,
accent.
it was perfect, right?
Uh,
So my girlfriend is actually from Brazil, and we always have this conversation about pronouncing names in different languages. Sometimes it's confusing because my name's Dave, right? But if I go to Brazil, it's not Dave, it's Davy, right? Like I have to, it has to change. So it's interesting. Yeah, I've been to Rio. Rio's really beautiful.
I come from a favela. I live in a favela, but uh, but there are beautiful landmarks in Rio, like in the center of Rio, like the city.
Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah, of course. I just the combination of the coastal area, because I was obviously only in the touristic area, right? But
Hmm.
with the big mounds, like they're, I don't know what to call them really, because they're not mountains, they're kind of like hills, but it's a little, we don't have that type of
Or you mean a favela?
no, no, well, yes, well, I'm talking about the way that the landscape is, right? Because you can have those big, in Portuguese you say morros, right? The morro, that,
Uh,
yeah, just doesn't exist in the US. Like we don't have that kind of landscape of like those big hills right next to the coast. Like we just don't
uh,
have that.
I see. I see.
Yeah. So I hiked up one of them. It was really cool.
Okay, nice.
Yeah. So, but tell me about your English language journey though, because you said you're at this point, you speak very well. Your accent is
Uh,
very good. I hear the American
uh,
twang in there. It sounds nice. But tell me
America,
about how you got there.
American twang.
Well, twang is usually used when we're describing like a southern accent in the U.S., but I was trying to, just use the word that it felt right in that situation. But this kind of accent is very rhotic.
Can you write it down?
Yeah.
Twang. I like to learn new words like every day, so I'll edit that to my learning words of the day.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah. What were you saying?
Yeah, so I want to know more about the journey that you've taken to learn English, right? So to get to this level, of course, I'm sure maybe did you learn any English in school or was it all by yourself?
Well, mostly by myself, but I've used wrong methods, like not I mean um not effective as the ones that I've been using currently. So, but I started when I was in middle school, and there was this girl, and she used to take, at the time, she used to take English classes at a expensive language school. And at recess, we would sit down on the floor, and she would um take her phone out and open this app, uh, uh, learning app, Duolingo, called Duolingo, and would use it for a couple minutes, and I would just stare at her using the app and play with her on the app. And we also would listen to music, right? And she would pull up the lyrics so we could keep up with the song and the lyrics. At the time, my English was horrible for say, right? For say, but I could understand a few words, but not enough to understand the whole song. But anyway, my level at the time was a pretty beginner, a pretty beginner level. And okay, so that got me um, interested in learning the language. So I guess my mom to sign me up for uh, English classes at another language school, because that one she had been going was too expensive for me. And so I asked my mom to sign me up for classes, and but she had already told me beforehand that um, that that would be a time where she couldn't really afford anymore, and she made sure to let me know, you know. So I started going to that language school and taking classes, and it was really good. But I eventually um, the prices got um expensive, and my mom couldn't afford anymore, and I was aware of that because she had told me earlier, beforehand, the what would happen if the prices um uh if the prices went up, you know. So I quit. I quit going to the language school and taking classes. I dropped out, and I started learning by myself. Like I looked up how to learn uh, English by myself, by yourself, and then I used a lot of methods like Duolingo, memorize. I watched a few episodes of videos on YouTube of, for example, the first playlist I watched from a channel was a for beginners, and then after I was done watching that playlist, I watched another one from at another level, intermediate level, but just a few videos. And then what I did was I created and joined a lot of WhatsApp groups, and that was uh, a big mistake because most of the Brazilian WhatsApp groups they are not for immersion um, because there aren't as many natives there. You know, like uh, uh, um, a bunch of Brazilians there speaking with bad English and bad pronunciation, but not a good environment to be in, right? And there weren't many a lot of natives there, so it wasn't really a good environment. So, and then what I did was I created a lot of a few actually WhatsApp groups, and then what I did was what else? I've tried a bunch of things, but then I found this method. Um, I guess 2 or 3 years ago, and it's been working out great for me very well. And it mostly focuses on improving your listening skills, building up your vocabulary, and all that kind of stuff. But most important um, is that you make yourself you kind of create a a emotion environment. Like you set up uh, your phone settings to English. You start watching stuff in English, like TV shows, movie, and all that kind of stuff. And then you just surround yourself in the language. So that's been working very well for me. So that's kind of, and those methods that I've used kind of slow me down. You know, like it took me a long time to get to a B to a beginner level to a beginner to intermediate level. And when I got that to that point, I started using the method I was talking earlier,
Perfect.
and I
Nice.
started uh, uh, um, improving uh, even more.
And yeah, so getting from the beginner to the intermediate level is always a struggle because the materials tend to be very like the topics are very basic, so it's not as interesting a lot of times. And then the grammar is very difficult in the beginning, but eventually once you get a hang of it, then it's not so bad, and you can start listening to and using reading more advanced content. But is this something that you developed yourself, this method, or is this something you found from someone else?
I found for someone else. Is that what you said?
You found it? No, I said that you borrowed from someone else, that you
I
found that is from someone else. Yeah.
Yeah, I bought it from someone else. Yeah,
Mhm.
a Brazilian language coach guy.
Oh, cool. Very nice.
Yeah,
And is this coach a polyglot?
not, but he's been learning French, to prove his point that his methods work.
Yeah. So yeah, that's actually really that idea of immersion and really heavy input, we call it in language learning, is very
Yeah,
common.
full input. Yeah.
Very common with polyglots, like people that speak many, many languages. That's very common, a very common idea of reading, the importance of reading and listening as much as possible. And then, of course, using the language, but when you're ready, right? When you're ready to use the language, you can use it.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And the one interesting thing about this method is, in order for you to start speaking, you have to get uh, to a really high level of understanding the language before you start speaking.
Mhm.
But it's okay. It's okay if you start earlier. It's gonna be a little complicated, but if you have the mindset, like you have your mindset positive, like you don't feel um, afraid of making mistakes, or if you don't um, um, let you down easily, right? uh, it's okay. But if you are a person that it's easily to get nervous and afraid, frustrated, that's not a good way to go. You might want to start with the silent period, and then after that, you can, like, after you have developed a high level of understanding the language, observe a lot of the language, you can start speaking. And since I'm close to that, and also because I've been getting help of people and getting, some credit and stuff like that, I just felt like I could use some classes, and but my my uh um my my pre my how can I say this? My my main goal, my most important thing that I no no how can I say this? Like my what I've been concentrating is improving my listening skills for now.
Mhm.
That's my most important thing. How
Yeah,
can I say
you can say
that
my
in
focus,
another way?
right? My
What
main
what what
my main focus, or my yeah,
I
the
mean?
main focus, I would say, is probably the most natural there.
Okay, I mean.
Yeah. And what type of things are you listening to generally?
Okay. I mostly listen to movies, right? I watch movies. I watch videos on YouTube, and sometimes I'll watch um TV shows. For example, there's this one that I've been watching for a long time now, Impractical Jokers. Have you heard about it?
That's a lot.
Yeah,
I love that series. It's great. That TV show. Yeah.
yeah. And recently, I started listening and watching this old sitcom, Family Guy, right?
Uh huh.
And at first when I started, I didn't really like back then, but I and a while ago I started to give it a shot, right? I I gave it a shot, and I started liking it.
Yeah. It's very specific. So Family Guy, there are a lot of cultural references, historical references. So like sometimes it's difficult if you don't know the exact reference, but with time, you start to understand that they're making fun of things that are happening.
Yeah,
Um,
uh, uh, but back then I didn't notice that they were making fun of those things. But now that some time have has passed, I can kind of understand now.
Yeah. Yeah. And have you ever seen The Office?
The Office. I've tried, but didn't
Oh,
really find it funny. Yeah,
really? For me, it's hilarious. I love The Office. The Office for
I've
me was classic.
I've tried Friends. Didn't I've tried Friends to watch Friends. 3 times. Like I tried, and
Yeah. I don't really like
maybe
Friends either.
times I liked it.
What about How I Met Your Mother?
I've seen 2 episodes or three, but then I
Yeah.
started to get bored.
Well, it depends on the style that you prefer, right? Because those are all sitcoms, and they're kind of like, it's situational comedy is what it stands for, right? Sitcom. So it's a situation that doesn't change basically. So if you don't like